instead of it coming out of the pockets of consumers.
Economists say that's not going to happen. They say this is going to go straight into the profits of the oil companies. They're not going to actually lower their prices, and the two top leaders in the House are against it. Nearly every editorial board and economist in the country has come out against it. Even a supporter of yours, Paul Krugman of the New York Times, calls it pointless and disappointing. Can you name one economist, a credible economist, who supports this suspension?
Well, you know, George, I think we've been, for the last 7 years, seeing a tremendous amount of government power and elite opinion basically behind policies that haven't worked well for the middle class and hardworking Americans. From the moment I started this campaign, I've said that I am absolutely determined that we're going to reverse the trends that have been going on in our government and in our political system. Because what I have seen is that the rich have gotten richer. A vast majority, I think something like 90% of the wealth gains over the last 7 years have gone to the top 10% of wage earners in America.
But can you name an economist who thinks this makes sense?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to put my lot in with economists, because I know if we did it right, if we actually did it right, if we had a president who used all the tools of the presidency, we would design it in such a way that it would be implemented effectively. Now, look, I have long-term plans too. I mean, it's a misnomer to say this is all that I'm doing. That's not. I have a comprehensive long-term energy plan that would go right at dependence on foreign oil. We've got to undermine this incredible addiction that we have. We use more foreign oil today than we did on 9/11. That is a disaster for America. Also, that we've got to move toward more alternative and renewable fuels and get our gas mileage up. You know, increase those CAFE standards.
But that's one of the problems here. You've already spent, according to our research, the windfall profits tax on this strategic energy fund for renewable energies and alternative energies.
The tax subsidies will go right into that. I'm talking about something temporary this summer. My longer-term plan is, yes, to put an excess profits tax on the oil companies above a certain level of profit that would go in to help us make the transition. But let's step back here a minute, George. You know, it's really odd to me that arguing to give relief to the vast majority of Americans creates this incredible pushback. When the federal government, through the Fed and the Treasury, gave $30 billion in a bailout to Bear Stearns, I didn't hear anybody jump up and say, that's not going according to the market, that's rewarding irresponsible behavior. We got to get out of this mindset where somehow elite opinion is always on the side of doing things that really disadvantage the vast majority of Americans, and get back to looking hard at what we're going to do to stop the housing crisis. You know, for months now I've been saying we need a moratorium on home foreclosures and we need to freeze interest rates. I think that would help us stem what's happening in not just the housing market, but the general decline in the economy. Well, we can't get that through the Congress either. And on health care, on so many of these issues where costs have gone up, where people are really feeling squeezed, there just doesn't seem to be an understanding about what people are going through.
Let me go to one of the voters who's feeling squeezed. Kara Glennon is here. Kara is a Democrat. She's supporting Obama. I think you've contributed $25 to him. What's your question on the gas tax?
I have. Senator Clinton, I actually make less than $25,000 a year, so talking about gas prices is not academic for me. I really do feel pain at the pump. However, I do feel pandered to when you talk about suspending the gas tax. I don't think that it's really a reasonable plan, and call me crazy, but I actually listen to economists because I think that they know what they've studied. You say that you have both a short and a long-term plan for our energy consumption. However, since a suspension of the gas tax would encourage continued overconsumption, which could possibly cancel out any price savings and also undermine our efforts to curb global warming, and your long-term plan includes trying to, say, curb global warming, don't you feel that these two plans are in conflict?
No, and let me stand up because I can see you better from this angle. You know, actually, I'm glad you asked this question because I want to make it very clear that we're talking about short-term relief and a long-term plan. And I have a very comprehensive long-term plan to reduce our dependence on foreign oil, increase the mileage of our automobiles, and to do it in a way that will push us forward as a leader in the world again, which we have.
Washington candidates in this race, they've decided to do something different. They have proposed a gas tax holiday. John McCain started, he made the proposal, then Hillary Clinton said, "Me too." Now, I want you to understand what a gas tax holiday would mean. It would last for 3 months, and it would save you, on average, half a tank of gas, $25 to $30. That's what Senator Clinton and Senator McCain are proposing to deal with the gas crisis. $25, $30, half a tank of gas. It's an idea that some economists think might actually raise gas prices because folks will start using more gas and demand will go up. And without a plan to pay for it right away, it means the money would come directly out of the fund that we use to pay for construction projects for the Highway Trust Fund, which could cost the state of North Carolina up to 7,000 jobs. And we don't know that the oil companies will actually pass on the savings. So you're saving 5% in terms of the gas tax. It's not clear what would prevent the oil companies from just jagging up prices 5%. So you end up giving them more money, and we've drained the Highway Trust Fund. Now, this is the problem with Washington. We're facing a situation where oil prices could hit $200 a barrel. Oil companies like Shell and BP just reported record profits for the quarter, and we're arguing over a gimmick to save you half a tank of gas over the course of the entire summer so that everyone in Washington can pat themselves on the back and say that they did something. Well, let me tell you something. This isn't an idea designed to get you through the summer. It's an idea designed to get them through an election. The easiest thing for a politician to do is tell you what they think you want to hear. But if we're going to solve our challenges right now, then we've got to start telling the American people what they need to hear. Tell them the truth.